Alright, so good afternoon to everyone here who's watching this. We are a bunch of students from Utah, that is University Tunku Abdul Rahman. We are taking a poli science course and we'll be doing a podcast on Trump, everyone's favorite American president.
Yeah.
Yay!
Love Trump.
Let's make America great again, guys. So, before we get into the nitty gritty, let's talk about social media. Now, every one of us here, we're all Gen Zs, right? We all... I am young. Alright, anyway, so we all use social media. Now, we know that social media has changed a lot of the game, right? Entertainment, and now politics as well.
Yep.
So let's talk about it. Let's talk about how social media actually changed the American election game.
I mean, right off the bat, the main way was that it spread information a lot faster. Like from Trump and both of them, Harris and Trump, they were able to get information out like straight away. They just post something on like Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and immediately like everyone kind of already knows what they want to say. They don't have to go through like journalists or have like conferences and stuff. But it also kind of made all the information very subjective. Like a lot of people giving opinions and like vote for this person, vote for that, without actually giving a lot of facts.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that led to a lot of misinformation because people were very like opinion biased. But it also kind of made a lot of people like feel like it wasn't very genuine what people were saying because they were kind of just riding on like trends. And yeah, I like when celebrities kind of come in and give their opinions, they're like, are they actually saying this or do they think something else, you know?
Okay.
Yeah, I would say that.
No, because like social media is also like generally being used by Gen Z more.
Yeah.
So like Gen Z also like tends to be kind of fickle. Like they
Yeah.
follow their celebrities, you know.
It's like conformism.
Yeah. Groupthink, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like when their celebrities support, like, okay, maybe they support Kamala, everyone's gonna get behind them and like say, yeah, I support Kamala too.
Yeah,
but
because
because and like if they support Trump,
Yeah.
then like that person is gonna get cancelled so badly.
yeah, cancel culture.
Yeah, because like Gen Z, because Kamala appeals to Gen Z more, like way more. So like the moment they hear like the celebrity like endorses Donald Trump, like it's over for their career already.
Yeah, that's very true.
So that's very interesting because you mentioned celebrities, right? So now we're in popular culture. So it has affected politics. We know this. So since that is the case, right, and social media actually really heavily favored Harris during the elections, why did Trump win?
Why?
I mean, since we mentioned about like Gen Z voters allegedly voting for Kamala Harris, but it didn't really translate to the voter results because as you can see, 92% of young American voters, they were tuning into the election.
Right.
But then did they go out there to vote? That is another question because apparently according to research, only 42% of youth voters went and vote, and this showed a drastic decline of like 8%. So this speaks volumes about like, you know, whether or not Kamala Harris' social media campaign actually worked out as depicted in the media. Because, I mean, we look at the results now.
Yeah.
She did so well on social media, but that just did not translate into the election at all.
Yeah, and because I think like the Gen Z, they take her campaign as like entertainment.
Yeah.
And her campaign like centers around herself and her personality. Like, you know, that Brad song, something that it turned her entire campaign to like Kamala is Brad. Like the entire thing just focused on like her being Brad, being Mamala, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
In our country, we need you to be Mamala of the country.
Yeah. And then like it focused on memes also and trends and everything, right? Yeah. And then so like basically because Gen Z is quite an underrepresented demographic, I think, in politics, right? So like they feel seen, I think. They feel seen, they can relate to her. So they like her.
I see.
Right.
But
That's
they
great.
don't vote.
You're seen, but then they don't go and vote. Very well done, Jen. Alright, so we're still on social media, right? So Harris worked, right? Trump won. So let's talk about Trump's social media then. How did that play a part in his winning the election?
So just now you mentioned memes, and then so it's kind of like
fully utilized among youngsters especially. And even Trump's use that him and his teams and even supporters actually generates a lot of memes. Whether it's good or bad, they just generates it and then puts his messages and everything about him and then just spread it across all social medias to like make it the focus of the central point of the public discussions. And but not just that, like he didn't struggle with all of these. Like he just like didn't care about it and just like amplifies these kind of messages and memes and then posts it everywhere. And even if like people throws in different claims about him, he didn't even care to like justify or clarify. He just like his focus is on like controlling controlling the debate of the entire thing rather than just like waiting for the the audience to like say a lot of things. No, you just want to take control of everything.
All right. So
Any publicity is like
Yes.
yeah, it's good publicity. Yeah.
And I mean, like reference power, like the popular ones, whether or not it's
They're
like
gonna
good
get the
publicity or
They're
like
gonna get
negative
the
publicity.
attention.
Yeah, they're gonna get the attention anyway.
So while we're on this whole marketing, like digital marketing strategy kind of route we're on, let's go back a little bit to the Trump and Biden elections, right? Because Trump, the way he's used social media hasn't changed, right? From the when was his first election again?
2020, I think.
His very first one was 2020.
2016.
2016? Yeah. So ever since 2016 till now, that social media, how he's used it, hasn't changed. Biden won, however, in the 2020 election. So how did that factor in? How did Trump actually lose his support there?
To correct what you said, actually Trump, how he used social media actually changed. Like,
I
if
see,
you look
alright.
at the recent election, he used TikTok, and that was the only time he used his TikTok. If you go to his account right now, right, you can see all his TikTok videos from September to all the way to November, which is the campaign period, the recent campaign period, and after that, he went missing. So he literally utilized it to the fullest, then he ditched it. So looking back at the 2020 election, right, between Biden and Trump, let's first look at their marketing strategy in terms of their website, like their campaign website. So first of all, both of them pissed. They are criticizing each other, lah. Okay. So Biden criticized Trump's abortion policies, while Trump criticized Biden's open border policy on how immigrants can easily come in, like the Mexicans, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
then
He even give catchy nicknames to them like Crook Hillary and Sleepy Joe to like provoke his opponents and such.
Yeah. That was me.
yeah, so looking at that, right, but then in terms of Biden's marketing website, right, it lacks structural integrity. It lacks structural hierarchy, so to speak, lah. So he focused more on getting the information out, which is very good. Then, but Trump being Trump, right, is he's sorry to say lah, muka tebal lah, thick face. So he focused on his past accomplishments, like what did the Republicans do. And but Biden was more focused on getting what are his future plans and policies for the Americans. So I guess that's what made the Americans vote for him, right? And then Biden was like, "Oh, I'm all about myself." So the Americans will be like, why he lost was
Trump. Right.
why Trump lost, right? Sorry, why Trump lost was like people think that he's quite self-centered, so to speak. Yeah. So that's the main difference on why Trump lost and why Biden won, essentially.
I mean, like, people would want a leader who looks forward rather than like, oh my god, like, what did you do?
Yeah,
during,
but
like...
then Trump won this one with his strategy of focusing everything on himself too.
But I guess he improved himself last time during the 2020 election, right? The website he used was more towards like all the call to actions to donate to his campaign. So it's like very money-centered.
Okay. I see. He Bernie Sanders himself, and that's what he lost. All right, so let's move away from some of the social media stuff. Get into a little bit of the nitty gritty. let's talk policies. Now, we've actually mentioned some policies here and there already, right? We've mentioned Harris going for the whole LGBTQ thing, Trump's abortion policies, all kinds of stuff going on. So, right now, we know that his policies tend to resonate with the hard right, with the Republicans. Now, why is that? How does that actually work in his favor?
Okay, so Trump has a lot of policies, both back in 2017 and right now also. In 2017, there were problems of immigration and all that things. So he instated a 2017 travel ban, banning a lot of the Arabic countries from coming in. So it resonates within the hard right because the hard right attitudes of national security, cultural preservation, and opposition to multiculturalism. So another policy is that Trump introduced the USMCA agreement, a free trade agreement, the United States, Mexico, and Canada agreement. This was used to replace NAFTA, which emphasizes more on US manufacturing. And they also put on a lot of hefty tariffs on a lot of different countries.
Worked out very well for him.
Yeah, to the hard right, it looks like a very good thing because it protects American jobs, protects US manufacturing, money come in and then it doesn't go out more. But in reality, not so much. The whole world on
So in reality, what actually happens is a very interesting policy. Actually, this tariffs that he has put on a lot of countries out there. What happens is that he has increased the tariffs, right? There's now reciprocal tariffs, right? He's done that, and you know who pays more for the goods now that come into America?
The citizens.
Yes,
Americans.
yes, the Americans pay more for their own goods. So, well done, Trump. Good on you.
That's the thing with Kamala's campaign. Like, these two core issues are what's missing from her campaign, like inflation,
Yeah.
economic problems, and immigration.
Yeah.
She doesn't touch on them at all, but instead, like as you said,
Yeah.
she just goes on and on about LGBTQ rights and
Yeah.
like women's healthcare, abortion. Yeah. But then like to ask the question, like, are the people even concerned about abortion rights? Even like with the recent overturning of the abortion law, Roe versus Wade, like she didn't even get like the majority of the women voters. In fact, she actually lost out on quite a lot compared to like Biden's administration, right?
Yeah, she disregarded her women voters as well as the middle class, which she advocated for in her campaign, but then ended up disregarding because, like, in a way, what she's currently advocating for, like LGBTQ rights, abortion rights, the Latino voters and the women voters in general, they actually don't really care about these issues. What they care more about right now is actually the inflation issues that are affecting them directly as well as their families.
Yeah, especially their traditional Christians.
Yeah.
So that's actually very interesting to talk about because what Harris missed out here was actually playing the field. Now, I don't know if any of you have read Machiavelli. He wrote The Little Prince. It was basically a subset of rules to how to be a good ruler. Now, most monarchies didn't use it, and that's why most monarchies are gone. But we see some of it being used by Trump, especially in how he plays the field. He understands who his voters are. He knows that it's going to be the hard right. He knows it's going to be the traditional Christians. So he plays heavily into those fields. And he wins it out because demographically, America is made up of those fields that he has decided to play.
So like Kamala just placed all her bets on Gen Z and she just
Just backfired.
Now what Kamala attempted to do was that she played the social media game, right? She tried to use, and you mentioned it before, how information spreads so fast, whether it's misinformation or not, right? She tried to play that field because she knew that, everyone follows social media up to a certain extent. But she failed to realize that people have their own brains to think too. And also that the young people really don't want to go out to vote.
Yeah, they're just like, oh, that's very interesting, and then that's it.
Comment.
Yeah.
So I think to end this podcast on Trump, first of all, congratulations, President Trump. Don't kill me. And please, to all our viewers out there who are gonna be watching this, don't trust whatever you read or hear on the internet, including us, by the way. Find out your own information. Don't be a sheep, be a shepherd. That will be all from the Utah Poli Science students. Thank you.
Make America great again.
Bye.
Bye bye.